We've always had room in our hearts for film and TV, not just on Netflix, but tape and disc and theaters. And also, God forbid that they take it all away and leave us nothing to broadcast to loyal listeners. We'll binge watch every single movie, so you don't have to. What else are we here for? Coming to you every week. Listen to us while you're busy. Luckily, we forgot to grow up. Hey everyone, it's Craig.
Hey, it's Scott.
It's great, it's Andrew.
Welcome to episode number 5 of the Forgot to Grow Up podcast. On this very special episode of the Forgot to Grow Up podcast, we're going to talk about the top 20 grossing films from 2016, and we're going to discuss the ones that we didn't see. And then we're going to move on to films that we saw that we really wish we hadn't, and we're going to beg for our time back. So stay tuned to see if that actually happens. And then finally, we're going to close, as we do every other week, with our lovely segment that I'm giving the acronym WWWTW, because that just rolls off the tongue way better than what we watched this week. So, moving on to segment number 1, which we are calling this week, probably change its name later, Dude, Awks, I haven't seen that. So, the top 10 grossing films from 2016 in order. Obviously, as many of you would have guessed, Rogue One, a Star Wars story, that obviously caps the list with a little over $500 million, followed by Finding Dory at number 2.
There we go.
Captain America Civil War at number 3. The Secret Life of Pets at number 4, The Jungle Book, the 2016 live-action remake at number 5, Deadpool at number 6, Zootopia at number 7, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice at number 8, Suicide Squad at number 9, and Sing at number 10. And now, Andrew, tell me I'm not the only one who did not see Sing.
I didn't see Sing.
Nope.
Did none of us
Sing
see Sing?
is the only one of those top 10 that I didn't see.
Oh, so none of us saw Sing. Okay,
None of us saw
good.
Sing, which I guess it means there's nothing. I guess it means there's nothing to sing home about.
Do you guys even know what it's about? Because I did, when I saw it on the list, I'm like, is that a thing?
That's the one about the animated animal talent show.
I was gonna say, all I see when I see the title Sing, in my head I see pigs, and that's it. So I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a German pig or a Dutch pig or something that is a really flamboyant dancer. And that's all I could tell you.
Yeah, normally I'd fact check and look up the plot, but we're not even going to bother with this one.
No, I definitely didn't see that, but I don't normally see kid cartoons. It sounds like it was a kid cartoon. That
I live for that crap, man. I live for it.
It's not my stuff. I haven't enjoyed one really since Shrek, the first Shrek.
Really, man.
That was the only kid crazy one that I ever really connected with, was the first Shrek, and then they got bad after that, and I was like, oh.
That's
guys
fair.
had hit gold with that one movie, and then you just ran off with it.
They just kept digging, man.
Exactly, and it just didn't work. But yeah,
you hit oil, and then you keep digging. Eventually, you hit the center of the earth.
Yeah, and then you
just start going back up the other way. Yeah.
No.
And then you got to become Brendan Fraser
in the lava.
I'm pretty sure you burn up before you get to the center of the earth. I've seen the core.
You gotta become Brendan Fraser and just
then
take
you can
your
make
nephew.
It through. Yeah.
And then you find dinosaurs and stuff, so it's all good.
Yeah, I didn't see that movie either. But
I just want to touch base on movie number 8, Batman vs. Superman. The amount of flack it caught for not being a great movie. It still brought in $330 million, and it came in above Doctor Strange and X-Men Apocalypse, which are in the next 10. So, I still don't understand why it caught so much flack. We should
also clarify we're doing the domestic top 20.
Yeah,
we're not doing the international.
Yes.
Just to clarify, because it's a little different. But yeah, I agree.
Yes.
I agree with you. Everyone gave it a lot of flack considering everyone went and saw it. But at the same time, you have to go see it to give it flack. But at the same time, I saw it more than once. I went and saw that for my birthday. Then I saw it again after that, and I really liked it. So obviously, I contributed a bit to that, but. I agree. It definitely received a lot more flack than it deserved, but at the same time, it was also the first Batman and Superman appearance on screen. So obviously, it was going to garner a lot of a big opening weekend. I'm looking at this, and it actually has one of the highest openings of the top 10. opening weekends.
Only behind Captain America Civil
Yeah,
War.
exactly. Yeah. So it's like a lot of people went and saw it. It just trailed off after that. It only doubled its profit after that, or doubled its revenue, or whatever you want to call it after that. Whereas some other movies like Captain America just kept growing, almost. Well, it's a little more than doubled its opening, but I feel like Batman v Superman definitely opened strong. Opened strong because people were curious, and then like a lot of the negative feedback didn't keep people going back to it, which I think is a shame because I liked it. But
And you've ranted about it.
yes, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, I probably
Call
should
back
keep going
to other
about
Forgot
it.
to Grow Up content.
Exactly, our YouTube content. Watch it, people.
So Scott, what else on this list so far haven't you seen?
Well, starting from like the top, I haven't seen Finding Dory, and I still
That's a
feel
shame.
I still feel a little
That's
bad
a
about
shame,
that
man.
because I did like. I'm not the biggest fan of like Disney movies, but I do like most of the Pixar ones, which I know are Disney, but like I
Yeah.
find it is a kind of a sub brand. It's kind of like, well,
Finding Dory was so cute, man. I mean, I haven't watched it in months,
yeah.
but it's so cute, so cute.
Yeah, and I've heard good. Like, I never heard anything bad about it. I just like, I don't know. I don't know. I never go see those things in theaters because I don't want to be among children. To be honest, like that was my problem.
How does it make you feel knowing that my cat has seen that movie or had seen that movie more times than you have?
I don't know. I don't feel that bad, to be honest. As awkward as that is, like
Belle loved the Finding Nemo.
I
and
kind of
Finding
like the
Dory
idea of
movies.
keeping a lot of these for one day in the future if I ever have children. And it's like, oh, I haven't watched
That's
them
fair.
yet, so I'm not sick of them. So it's like, okay, I get to, like, I don't have to, like, does that make sense? So it's like, I'm not like
Guys, you and Daddy get to experience this for the first time together.
exactly, and it's like
came
then,
out
I get-
30 years ago.
because if I see it and I don't like it, then it's like then I'm gonna like either not say not let my kid watch it, but like I probably won't have that DVD around. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, if I don't watch
Your kids
it,
are going to
then-
be like, Dad, you had a TV and movie podcast and you didn't watch a movie? Gasp.
yeah, that's awkward considering
Those are gonna be-
there's a few
those are
more
gonna
from
be
this
my
top
kids.
10 list I still haven't seen at all.
I imagine you didn't see Secret Life of Pets either, right?
Yeah, no, definitely not. Why would I don't even know what that like is. That based off of a toy, I'm guessing, or is
No,
that
I don't
is it
think
its own
so.
thing?
It's just about like the secret life of pets. Like,
That
what
just-
happens
that's-
when your owner leave? Like when I leave Iris, Roxy, and Ivy alone, what goes on? You know, I think I know, but who actually knows? That's kind of the concept of the movie.
I think people with home security know because they have cameras in their houses
That's
all
fair,
day
yeah.
and they can see.
Not in. I think it was New York. It took place. Not there apparently.
Okay, that seems weird considering that seems like a very high crime rate place.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, no, I didn't see that because again, I don't go see very many family movies in theaters because I don't have a family. That's only partially true.
Shout out to Scott's family.
Yeah, I have a family. I mean, like, I don't have my own like children to take to it, and I'm at that age where it's like I'm weird if I'm that like 20 like I'm not going to those movies by myself, and it's like there's no way.
No,
Yeah,
no, no,
yeah,
no, no.
Yeah,
definitely.
exactly.
No,
That's
not
what
by
I'm saying.
yourself.
Like, those are
Yeah.
not something I'm gonna go see.
That is definitely a rule.
Exactly. Like I've only ever seen 2 movies by myself so far, but like this podcast is obviously going to broaden that. But I don't think it's ever going to make it to the cartoon movies or the kid movies, to be honest. But yeah, I didn't see Secret Life of Pets. I also didn't see The Jungle Book. That I've been meaning to watch on Netflix. I just haven't gotten to it because I saw the cartoon one when I was a kid, like a lot of times, and I'm like, what's the difference? Like, what?
See, for me, The Jungle Book had a great cast, and it was a good movie.
Was it
I
different?
didn't
though?
really need.
Yeah, was it different enough though?
It was more or less like not exactly to the T what the original story was. or
Okay,
what
so it's
the
a little
animated
different.
Movie was,
If it's a
but
little different, then I
little
then I
bit,
might
but
check it
it's-
out because I thought it was T for
it's-
T.
It's a good movie. It was just one of those things I didn't absolutely need.
Exactly. That's why I haven't gotten to it yet because I was just like I didn't need to see that at the like as amazing as it looked, and it's Jon Favreau, I believe, who did that, and I'm a
Yeah,
big fan
yeah.
of Jon Favreau, but I just could not. I don't know. like that. All these live action remakes, I like the ideas of them. Like, yeah, that's great that you're finally doing that. I would have watched that when I was a kid, because when I was a kid, I was really
should have done it 10 years ago, Disney.
Like, I was really opposed to that because I liked live action more than I did. Like, I liked cartoons when I was younger. Like, I remember one of the first things I like really attached to, besides comic book stuff, was Pirates of the Caribbean, because that was like a Disney kids family movie that was live action. So they finally made something that I was like, oh, I like that. That's something for Scott. And like, so like these live action remakes, like I kind of like the idea of. It's just like I need more of a change. And so that's why I didn't get to Jungle Book. And I've been meaning to still get to it, but if it ever gets off of Netflix, then I probably won't go to the trouble of finding it. Like, unless I subscribe to Disney's future subscribing service, which I'm sure I will. I'll have to get my Marvel and Star Wars somewhere.
Yeah, fair enough. See, for me, I if it's a musical, like Beauty and the Beast came out this year, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I've seen it a bunch of times. Like, I
been
love me
meaning
the
to get to
musicals. But if it's just an animated story they bring to life, I'm kind of like, didn't really need it. Could have just left
That's
me with
fair.
the original.
How many, like, are most of them musicals? Now I'm trying to think. I'm like, I can't remember which ones are musicals and which ones aren't, because I feel like I've only seen the musical ones.
For the most part,
They're mostly
I'm
musicals.
pretty sure
right?
they...
Like, all the popular ones are musicals, I think.
I think a lot of them, they weren't really musicals. It was just they had really good soundtracks.
Oh,
like, I think back to like Disney's Tarzan, and like that might be one of the best soundtracks I've ever listened
Tarzan
to.
isn't a musical. Yeah, they don't really sing.
And then
that,
and then The Lion King, they have what, 1 or 2 songs that they actually sing, and then the rest is all background music.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I need to go rewatch some
Like
of these Disney ones.
That was back in the good old days when Disney used to just hire single artists or groups to do the
Phil
whole
Collins.
soundtrack.
Yeah, I kind of miss that some days. Like the last time I think that happened was probably Iron Man with AC/DC. And those were just all AC/DC songs anyways. And I think they made like one new one for the second one, like Shoot to Thrill.
Yeah.
But like I still like that because it's like, yeah, nice. Like the whole thing, just AC/DC. It's an AC/DC 2-hour music video.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Exactly, and I have no problem with that. But what movies haven't you seen from the top 10? So you only didn't see Sing.
Yeah. What about you, Craig?
Yeah.
If you tell me all 10, I'm going to be so disappointed.
As predicted by anyone who knows me.
No, I know you've seen Rogue One. I know you've seen that because I was with you.
This
I
isn't
sat
necessarily
beside
that you saw it in theaters. It's also like
No. I've seen the top 2. So
okay.
I saw
Nice.
I saw
You're
Rogue One.
better
I
off
saw
than I
Finding
am with
Dory.
Dory.
But I have not seen Captain America. I've not seen The Secret Life of Pets. I've not seen The Jungle Book. I've not seen Batman vs Superman, and I've not seen Sing. So that's 5 of the top 10.
Wait, you did?
5 out of 5's mediocre. I'll take it.
That's all right. Yeah, I'm slightly better off than you. I think. What am I?
Math.
1, 2, 3. 4,
I think
5. No, we're the
even.
same. We're the same.
Yeah, because I've seen Zootopia and Finding Dory, and you've seen Captain America and The Jungle Book, so we're dead even.
No, not Jungle Book. Batman v
No, you
Superman.
didn't see Jungle Book. You
Batman
saw
v
Batman vs
Superman,
Superman.
yeah.
Because we didn't see The Jungle Book. Yes.
Yeah,
right,
neither
right,
of us
right,
saw
right,
that one. But you should definitely get to Captain America.
I plan to.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The only good part about Zootopia for me, because the movie was okay, but Andrew, you'll remember the part with the sloths at the DMV. That made the entire movie for me.
See, my favorite part of it is right at the end with the where they kind of show who the dickhead in the really fast speeding car is.
Right.
And then it turns out it's the sloth.
Right.
Like that joke alone was worth the movie.
That does
I've
sound pretty
entirely
good.
forgotten about that.
Those are the kind of jokes I like. Just like, sloth's the fastest one. Because it's funny, because
And the
sloths
sloths
are
are running the
normally
DMV,
fast.
which is
yeah,
right.
that's the funny thing. Like, I'm kind
they
of
gotta get their
like, that's probably at the
material
top
from
of the
somewhere.
list that I'm gonna watch next. Now I'm like, that sounds kind of clever. Like,
Zootopia was actually a pretty,
should do it.
pretty
I-
out
quality.
of all
enjoyed
those, the ones I haven't seen, that's the one I heard the most good things about. Actually, like Finding Dory, I heard it was Finding Dory, but I didn't hear like anything like, oh, it's done like anything groundbreaking. But I heard Zootopia was actually like pretty like surprisingly good for what it was. So might have to get to that eventually since it's on Netflix anyways.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
it's I wouldn't recommend like taking a day off work to watch it, but it's pretty good.
I don't think I've taken a day off work to watch a movie in a very long time.
Yeah. It's been
Not
probably
since I've been in my
20s.
20s. Back in those teenage days, it was like that was a little easier. Like, oh yeah, McDonald's. I'm not feeling good today. Are you hungover? No, I'm not hungover today. I want to go see a movie. No, I'm not. I'm just sick. I'm
not
sick.
hungover today.
Sick. Okay, so for the next 10, we've got number 11, Moana, followed by Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them at 12, Doctor Strange at 13, Hidden Figures at 14, Jason Bourne at 15, Star Trek Beyond at 16, X-Men Apocalypse 17, and then 18 is Trolls, 19 is La La Land, and 20 is Kung Fu Panda 3. How many of those have you guys not seen?
Whew. It might be easier to tell you how many I've seen.
How many have you guys seen?
I've seen, I think, 3. I've seen 3 of those. That's pretty bad. I didn't realize that.
You've seen less than half of the top 20 domestic grossing movies from 2016.
You don't even want to hear my
I haven't even seen them, like, not even in... Yeah, that's pretty bad. I didn't realize how... I should start making my way through some of these. But in my...
Making my way through movies. Watching fast. Watching them for the podcast.
That was way better than where I was going with it. So
that was good. Yeah,
that.
I'm glad I didn't interrupt that. I was going to talk over it, but then you did proper. I was like, that was good. I like it. You riffed off it. Anyways, but of those, in my defense, 1, 2, 3 are cartoon family movies. So obviously, like we talked about with the other top 10, I don't really watch those too often. I have heard a lot of good stuff about Moana, so I might get to that because I love The Rock.
It's on Netflix.
And it's on Netflix.
Well,
That's the other thing. I was like, and it's on Netflix, so I can get to, like, I don't have to go illegally find it online and risk my computer. Cause
totally legal.
I never do that. I never do the illegal stuff because it's too annoying. That's what I'm saying. That's why I prefer Netflix.
Good call.
Hint, Netflix. Anyways, but yeah, so that, Trolls, and Kung Fu Panda 3 I haven't seen because those are all family movies. I don't really watch family movies too often. Even though Kung Fu Panda, if I had known, I might have checked out because I did like the first one. I'm gonna be honest, I knew there was a second one out, never, just kind of over my head, never got to it. Trolls, I don't even know what to tell you. I don't even know what that is.
I know Justin Timberlake wrote a
That's actually one
song.
based on a toy.
Yeah, I thought so.
Remember how you were
That's
saying
what I
about
figured.
Life of... Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so that's the one I was thinking of before. So yeah, the troll dolls, those things that people put on their dashboards. I'm pretty sure they were already in a movie. I'm pretty sure they're in Toy Story. So I don't want to see I don't want to see their solo spin-off done by Fox. So yeah, didn't see that. I've been meaning to get to Fantastic Beasts, and I just never have, just because I've heard too many spoilers for it. So it's just like I don't know if I want to watch it. Like I know what's happened in it for the most part, but I know how it ends. So it's like, oh well, I don't know what happens throughout any of it, but I know how it ends. So I'm like, oh, do I want to? I haven't dedicated myself to watching it, but I'm sure by the time the second one comes out, I'll probably have gotten to it, or I'll get to it when the trailer for that one comes out. But yeah, Jason Bourne, I didn't know there was a new one out last year.
Yeah, that was one of the ones I haven't watched yet. Is Jason Bourne?
Yeah.
You know, I liked them all. Like I love Matt Damon as an actor. I think he does a great job in them. But it was just one of those things I just never made it to, and I just never went out of my way to watch it.
I love me a spy movie. I've never been able to get through any of the Bournes. I've only ever fallen asleep during one movie, and that was the first Bourne movie.
Really? Damn.
Yeah. And it wasn't like I was super tired. I was just kind of bored and not really into it. And it was just kind of
Jason Bourne instead of Jason Bourne.
Exactly. I was super
Jason Bourne to fall asleep during that movie.
Exactly. So I passed out.
Those are two of the worst puns I've ever heard.
Mark them down, Craig.
Mark them down.
They're on. I'm keeping the tally, but still.
So yeah, like the fact that I didn't even know that this was coming out doesn't surprise me because I'm just never been a Bourne fan. Like I can see why some people like it. It was too dull for me. And like watching the trailers, it looks like a good movie. I just like after falling asleep during the first one and trying to like barely getting through the second and maybe part of the third. See, I don't even remember which one I've watched, to be honest, because they all like blur together in my mind too. So I'm just like, oh, okay, whatever. So yeah, I never got to that. But what else did you not watch? Since I've not watched most of these.
So the only two on mine are are Jason Bourne and Trolls. Those are the only other two that I haven't seen.
Okay, so those are part of my list.
I didn't really like La La Land, to be honest. I kind of wish I hadn't seen it. I feel like it just got so much hype, and it was one of those movies that
I think
start to finish, I was like, fudge me.
See, I think if it hadn't gotten so much hype, I would have probably watched it. But because of all this hype and like, I've heard a few, like I heard a couple like things on like, I watched a couple, what was it? YouTube videos that were like people's opinions about it or like arguing about it on something. And like just how passionate some people were about it and how like groundbreaking or whatever it was. I'm just like, man, no, thank you. Like it's a musical. Like I love me a musical, but don't tell me a musical's groundbreaking. like
you guys know me. I love musicals.
Yes.
This is one that like I'll never watch it again.
Okay. Would you recommend that I watch it since I haven't seen it?
I would recommend you watch everything on the list just so you've got the source material.
That's fair.
But
since we do
at the same time,
podcast,
yeah,
I should be an expert.
But at the same time, I don't want you to hold it against me.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want you to watch it and then put that into your your next list for the following segment.
So what we'll do then is I'll wait till somebody else makes me watch it. Does that make sense?
There we go. That makes sense. Make your kids watch it with you for the first time.
It's like children have to sit down. This thing almost.
We have 6 movies to watch.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be so much longer.
They all came out in 2016.
This is just 2016 like children's movies I haven't seen. You go into 2015 and 14. I haven't seen any of the Minions or Despicable Me's. I don't know what that stuff's about.
Yeah. See, to be honest, like these top 20, like I feel like half of them were really good movies, and then the other half I was kind of like, man, I forgot that even came out last year.
Yeah, like Zootopia, I thought that was even longer ago. I thought that was 2015, so that was probably the beginning of last year. Like I could see why a lot of these are as high as they are. So like I get why family films do so well. You have to pay for 3 tickets at minimum when it's a family film.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, it's gonna make 3 times as much as anything else is going to make, really. So it's like it's competing against other things, and so like that's what Star Wars and Captain America have going for them as well, which is why they're amongst the top 3. But things like Fantastic Beasts, I think, show that like good movies can kind of creep up. Same with Deadpool. Deadpool had such a small like budget, but like such a good marketing scheme that a lot of people went to go see that.
I feel like a couple of my honorable mentions, like I'm a little biased on some of them, but like I thought they were so much better than a couple of the ones I'm looking at. Like X-Men Apocalypse, I get that one was like it was a geek movie, so it's getting us and then a bunch of others seeing it.
Like I'm surprised I had forgotten a little bit about it because I didn't love it. And the fact that it made the top 20, I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense. But like looking at like the opening weekend for it, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. 60s, like it was kind of low. And I'm like, I get it, because I'm not like, I don't know if I even saw that in theaters. I might have waited to see that just because I'm like, okay, they've had a lot of X-Men movies, and they've disappointed me more often than they've not, to be honest.
Like that, that was one of those movies I felt like they just forced. And I feel like just in the X-Men universe, there's so many characters they can use that they have to squeeze them in.
Well, they tried
I didn't really need to. I didn't need to see Jubilee forced into there. That was kind of a waste for me. And that's, I think,
what they've run into a problem with a lot of the X-Men's recently. Like that's why I think Logan was so good this year, and Deadpool too, because they focused on one of those X-Men characters in each of those stories, because you could tell a full story about that character and develop them a little more. Whereas when you have these like X-Men Apocalypse thing, like. You barely
then you gotta somehow try to fit the Phoenix into it.
Exactly. Like, well, it's like what? Like
too soon. We just met Jean.
We just met her. We're like, we don't know anything about her, and it's like, oh, you're gonna throw in this thing already. Like we all know that that's gonna happen eventually. You don't have to like straight up go full Phoenix. So like I feel like that definitely.
You never Phoenix on the first date. Like
never,
wait till the second date.
Never. That's a forgot to grow up tip for all you guys out there. Never go full Phoenix on the first date.
What about you, Craig? What ones didn't you see?
Craig, help me feel better. Please tell me you've seen less of these than I have.
I did not see Moana. I didn't see Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I didn't see
Fantastic
Doctor
Beasts.
Strange.
You didn't see Doctor Strange?
I didn't see Doctor Strange. I didn't see Hidden Figures. I didn't see Jason Bourne. Didn't see Star Trek Beyond. Haven't seen X-Men Apocalypse, Trolls, La La Land, or Kung Fu Panda 3. So I haven't seen any of the
You
last
went
10.
0 for
Nice.
10.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. I got some.
I've
I'm
seen
not the
more
worst.
lists. I've seen more movies further down on the list that I would have put on this list than I did of the last 10.
Like my honorable mentions for this list, I've got number 24, Sully, the Tom Hanks and Clint Eastwood movie. That one, honestly, I would have put that one probably up at like 15 if I could like pay the money to get it bumped up. Like,
do you have 30 million kicking around? You might be able to still do that. Like that might be a thing.
No comment. No comment.
Fair. Like, my bad. I shouldn't have brought up finances. My bad. That was an awkward. I was trying to make a joke. And it got personal, and I'm sorry.
Yeah. Like I loved that movie. Like I thought it was freaking amazing.
I've heard a lot of good things about it. Haven't gotten to it. That's a lot of movies for me.
I think it was episode 1, or it might have been the prequel. I mentioned that anything that's got Tom Hanks or Clint Eastwood associated with it, I'd see. That one has both, so that's awesome.
That's true.
I got number 36, The Accountant. The Ben Affleck movie.
Yeah, I heard that was pretty good. That
was amazing.
Yeah,
it was one of those that is totally far out there, but I remember watching it and being like, man, this movie is incredible. I saw it twice.
Right on.
Deepwater Horizon, the Marky Mark movie about that oil rig explosion.
Okay. Yeah. Again.
That was another one that was really well done. That one came in at number 53.
You're picking all these things that I haven't seen, man.
Yeah.
Me too.
Number 72, Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates.
Was that good?
Yeah. I actually saw that.
That one
I
was...
I almost watched that this weekend, to be honest.
It outdid my expectations. I thought it was going to be just one of those stupid joke movies, but it was actually really well done. And I also like the fact that Craig's fantasy girlfriend was in it.
Yeah, I was just about to say Aubrey Plaza's in that movie.
Yeah,
Nice.
Gotta love her.
Nice. I'll have to check that out then, since you.
And I also love me some Anna Kendrick. So
gotta love Anna.
It was just.
But I almost watched that this weekend, and I was like, I had that same thought that you just mentioned. Like, I was like, oh, it's probably just gonna be a bunch of stupid jokes, and I was like, meh, I'm over it. So I didn't watch it. But now that you say it should have been higher.
Definitely watch it.
I might check it out this weekend.
It's not the greatest movie ever made.
Just a good laugh, though. Good one-time laugh.
Awesome.
That's all I needed. That's all I was looking for last weekend. I just want some one-offs.
It's better than super goofy, but it's a good movie. It's a good just sit there and watch movie.
Yeah, right on. Okay.
It's kind of like what was it, Dirty Grandpa?
I haven't gone to that yet either.
It's kind of like that movie a little.
Was that okay? Was that one of these honorable mention?
No, that was an honorable mention.
So it didn't make an honorable mention, which means I'm not going to bother getting to it.
But it was on the list.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
It's number 81.
That's why I asked, yeah. Did you have any more honorable mentions?
91, and this movie.
I thought so. I saw that on the list. I was like, yeah, he's going to mention this next.
It should have been number 1.
That's because it was amazing, Scott.
I saw the 91st movie. I can't remember if it was on Valentine's Day or if it was Valentine's Day weekend.
Did it come out that same weekend?
It was somewhere around there because
it was a hot date.
I'm sure I have a picture somewhere.
That's why it did so poorly, though.
Yeah.
It came out the same
weekend. Hot date.
It came out on
weekend.
February 14th or February 12th. Sorry,
that's the same day as Deadpool. That's why I got squashed.
Zoolander 2. Zoolander 2.
Yeah.
Just realized
we didn't actually said the movie. Yeah, we all knew what we were talking about. Yes.
The build-up. Zoolander 2.
Yeah, I'm looking at Zoolander 2 on the list and at 91, and I'm like, okay, so it made half the money it made the first weekend, and that was 13. And I'm like, oh, but it opened the same weekend as the 150 million, what's it called? Deadpool. And it's like, okay, well, everyone went to Deadpool, not that apparently.
Well, the Zoolander 2, I'm pretty sure the only people who saw it were like me twice, Craig on Valentine's Day, and other people who saw the first one.
I never went and saw it in theater,
let's see if,
but I watched it when it came on to Netflix, and I liked it. Like, I kind of wish I had saw it in theaters, but see, like
that was one of those ones that kind of goes back to our list of like good actors who go together.
Exactly. Yes.
Vince Vaughn, or not Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson and
Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, those two
and Billy Zane.
Don't forget Billy Zane.
Never forget Billy Zane.
Billy Zane was recently in a DC show. He was on the Legends.
Oh, he was in Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, I think they're going with just Legends now.
Just Legends.
I saw I was watching Flash, and in the
I guess it
corner,
makes sense because they do a
shorter,
lot of stuff in the past, right?
They're just Legends.
That makes sense.
And they do a lot of stuff in the future, so it's like of tomorrow. It just doesn't make any sense. It's like
Legends of always.
Yeah, Legends of whenever we go to.
Do you guys have any honorable mentions you want to toss out there?
You go ahead,
Scott.
You go first.
Okay,
Jinx.
Okay, fine. So there were a few movies that didn't make the top that I saw and I've recommended to people, so I thought that was interesting. The first one that came to mind when I went looking for it was Manchester by the Sea.
That's 69.
I remember you telling me about that one, yeah.
That movie, I didn't think I would enjoy it, but it actually, I don't like drama at all.
That had a lot of Oscar buzz, or has a lot of Oscar buzz, I should say. I think that's coming up this time. Or no,
that's the Casey Affleck one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's more of a, I guess you could call it an art film. I really liked it.
Well, it opened. I think it's kind of an indie. Like I'm looking at because it's 69 on the top 100 I'm seeing, and it's opening. It opened in only 4 theaters. So that's more usually like a Sundance or some kind of festival type situation. It's when it's kind of small like that, but.
That was one of them. I really liked it. I think you'd probably like it too. It depends on how much you can handle the Boston accent, though.
I like me a terrible Boston accent.
There's
it just
so
makes me
much.
smile because I'm terrible at accents, as we've come to discover in our podcast recordings. And I love hearing other people that are bad at them because it's like, oh, I understand.
I think this is the third podcast in a row that Craig's mentioned something about
Boston related. Yeah, that's probably true.
Boston strong.
I wasn't going to bring up Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, but that was another one that I'd seen that I enjoyed. Allied. I actually liked that. I don't know if either of you guys saw that one.
No, I haven't even heard of it.
It sounds. That's the one with Brad Pitt, right?
Yes,
that was a good movie. I can't remember. I can't believe I missed it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Where's the Spy? Yeah, that was a really good one.
I feel like I got that mixed up. I thought that I think I saw that, I think I saw a trailer for it and thought that was just Fury. The other Brad Pitt.
Okay, yeah, the tank one.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, okay.
He does a lot of older war movies now
lately, apparently.
TV
they all
shows
just blend together to
me.
And I'm like, now there's a Netflix one too, and I'm like, does he have a mustache in
war.
all of them?
The Netflix movie, since we brought it up, I enjoyed that as well.
Okay, I haven't gotten
I can't even remember what it's called.
Any of those
Craig's
ones.
I think it's just called War, isn't it?
I thought it was like.
What's your general recommendation on Brad Pitt war movies? Is what I want to know, guys.
Now that it's turned out that I've seen 2.
Yeah, you've seen more than I have.
World War Z.
I wasn't even thinking that type of war.
Legitimate war movies, yes. World War Z, no. That's X's opinion.
Fair. That's fair. The only honorable mention I had for the list is probably maybe not deserves to be higher, but I'm just glad that it made the top 100. Is Kevin Hart's What Now? Because we saw that, or I saw that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that.
I was supposed to see it, didn't end up seeing it.
Okay, I got that.
But I've seen it, but I didn't.
Yeah. So I saw that actually live. I saw him when he was doing that tour.
Okay.
So with me and
I was supposed to see it live, but I didn't. So I bought it at Costco when it came out and watched.
Nice. Yeah. So I just wanted to mention that because I'm glad that it made the top 100. Good for Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Double dipping on that. That tour money, he does a
stay
tour,
in his
films
financial
the tour,
lane,
sells the tour again. And I was like, yeah, do that. I'll rewatch it all the time.
Man, that's the second Kevin Hart show you've seen.
Yes, sir. And I'm gonna.
Did you have better seats for that one than you did the first one?
That's kind of hard to say. I was probably further away because it was a bigger theater.
That's fair.
But there was also more. What's it called? Screens.
Screens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's plenty of speakers too. It was at the Canadian Tire Center in Ottawa.
Okay. The Garage.
Yeah.
Love it.
So me,
Go Sens go.
Yeah, it was actually me and Ernesto who went to see that together. I think we got a discount from the college on some tickets, so it was.
I can't
it's
complain
pretty
about
good.
that.
Oh yeah, it was great though because you still got to see it like ahead of time, get to hear his jokes, and it's pretty awesome. So he's always great to see live too. It's like almost like going to a concert.
For sure,
yeah.
Before we move on to our next segment, Craig, did you find the name of that?
I did. The Brad Pitt war movie on Netflix is called War Machine.
War Machine.
War Machine.
And
okay.
I'm just scrolling through the recommendations here, and a lot of the reviews are very not great. I see the words disappointing. I see boring.
Oh,
I
that's,
see.
I thought it was pretty good.
Rotten Tomatoes rating of 53%.
ooh.
But
Still better than Batman versus Superman.
but I liked Batman versus
I actually
Superman.
liked it.
That's fair. Oh, well, I'll have to get to those eventually. I know I should. I always have trouble with war movies because I'm just like, oh, cool, you guys are shooting at each other. Where's Captain America?
Scott, I'm telling you, those those Brad Pitt war movies, definitely things you'll probably enjoy.
Okay.
You're not going to want to get your time back on those, but this next segment,
Holy
we're
segue.
definitely going to want our time back.
What was that segment called?
where
I
we're-
mean, what was that segment called again?
The segment is
can I
called
get
Can
my
I
time
have my
back,
time
please?
back, please? Correct.
So what's the first movie, XC, that you would like your time back after
Okay.
trying to see it?
Other than Planet of the Apes from 2001.
Yes.
Okay,
Callback.
the callback. The next movie on my list would be Napoleon Dynamite,
Ah, you stole one. That's
Oh,
not
which
fair.
I can't I wish I didn't even think of that, but now that you say that, yes, 100%.
I'm not going to get too in depth onto my list
So
because they're
terrible.
movies that weren't worth any of my time, so I'm
Yeah.
not going to give them too much time. But I got Napoleon Dynamite because seriously, dude,
Yeah.
it's Napoleon
You
Dynamite.
know, I think we all agree
Terrible.
that was just a waste of everybody's
Oh my
time.
Gosh.
Um,
But people
the next-
love it. That's what I don't get.
I liked
Yeah.
one dance scene in it, and I'm like, yeah, I can watch that on YouTube now.
Yeah, or you can just get
Austin
our
Davies
buddy
does a better
Austin
version.
Davies to do
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I'm just like, I'd rather watch that one.
Yeah. So the next one I have is SpongeBob SquarePants Sponge Out of Water,
Oh, yeah.
which the only reason I watched it is because I thought it might hold a candle next to the first SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
Oh, that's the second SpongeBob movie. Okay.
Yeah, the first one was Boss.
I was
I
gonna say,
loved
like, the
that
first
movie.
one wasn't too bad when I saw it, because I was younger when I saw that, and I didn't mind it at the time.
I've seen it recently. I played the video game like a year
Yeah,
ago. It's
We
pretty
went over
good.
this. I don't do kiddie stuff or family
Yeah.
stuff right now. Not till
But
I have my own
SpongeBob-
children.
SpongeBob Sponge Out of the Water was god awful. I feel bad for Antonio Banderas for signing on it as a part in it.
Yeah, he probably just did it over the phone. It's animated.
Yeah, probably. No, he was live action.
Oh, he was live. Oh, so he had to go to a
Yeah.
green screen and everything.
Yeah.
Damn.
So the
well, David
next thing
Hasselhoff
on
did
it, the next thing on it, and this one, it disappoints me even saying it. Pink Panther, the first and the second one with Steve Martin.
Oh.
Not the original ones.
I've never seen those.
This is the Steve
No,
Martin
I'm
one.
surprised that you didn't like those.
See, I grew up watching.
Oh, the originals.
The original
okay, that's
ones.
probably why.
Every
I never saw
summer.
the originals. I knew of them, but when Steve Martin went, like I could kind of see where you're coming from. Like I haven't gone back and watched them in forever, but I thought they were
I've
okay.
never really been a. Yeah, I've never really been a fan of Steve Martin. Like,
Really?
I didn't mind him in a couple things here and there, but he was never like I never
Your
really
favorite, yeah.
jumped on the hype train of why he was so great.
I guess I kind of,
Like-
agree with that. I've kind
Was
of
it
always
Planes,
just,
Trains, and Automobiles he
Never
was in?
seen it.
Yes.
I really liked that movie.
Never
That
saw
movie's
it.
But I
fantastic.
think that-
His
I think that was
stand-up is
more,
also really good too.
that was more.
That was what Chris
John-
Farley in that one.
John
Dude, it's
Candy.
John Candy.
John Candy.
John Candy, that's what it was.
Yeah,
I knew it was. I knew it was a
John
big funny
Candy,
guy.
'cause it was, that's a very Canadian movie,
Yeah.
right? A lot of Canadian
Yeah.
comedians in that
Steve
movie,
Martin
I believe.
and John
Like
Candy
it was, I
too,
liked
yeah.
that one, but I wasn't a huge fan of and most of the other Steve Martin stuff,
Yeah.
and definitely not the Pink Panthers.
The Pink Panthers, I
Um,
think, like the only reason I wouldn't say they were okay when I saw them, in my opinion. Like I could see why you didn't like them. For me, I wouldn't call them like a waste of time. Like they were kind of a laugh, but I've definitely not gone back. Like if I had to watch them again, I'd be like, oh yeah, I want my time back for that.
Kevin Kline and Beyonce were good because I like Kevin Kline, and it's Beyonce.
Beyonce when she used to do acting and random comedy movies.
Which are just popping up. Yeah,
like freaking
like Foxy Cleopatra.
That's exactly what I was thinking. That's how I discovered who Beyonce was Foxy Cleopatra. A whole lot of woman.
A whole lot of woman. Okay, the next one I got is Minions.
True.
And I love the Despicable Me movies. I thought they were pretty, cute and funny, but Minions never really got on that hype train.
Yeah, I can see that.
The next one, and this one is another one I feel kind of guilty about, Speed 2. Because I love Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock is my girl.
Yeah, no, I know you love Sandra Bullock. You'd marry her if you could.
But I would, she's my darling. Hey Sandra, I'll adopt your children.
He'll be your what's that called? Ryan Reynolds
I'll be better
for the
to
proposal.
you than Jesse James was. Yeah, his name is Andrew too. My name's Andrew. It's perfect.
Proposal 2.
Proposal 2. The real Andrew.
The real Canadian.
The real Canadian Andrew. But it just didn't do it for me. The next one I have, Sausage Party, which came out last year, which was on the
list of the top 100.
List.
Yeah, that was somewhere up there.
I'm glad I didn't watch that.
Yeah, I haven't got to watch that yet either.
The only good thing from that movie that I can say, because it was effed up.
Yeah,
I'm trying not to swear. It was effed up. The only good thing was they have a pre-cooked meatloaf, singing, "And I would do anything for love, but I won't do that." Like he sings the song, and it's a meatloaf doing it, and and you guys know I love meatloaf.
Exactly. That's pretty funny, kind of like what's it?
But that was it. That's that's the only good thing on there. Yeah,
that's fair. Did you have any other ones?
That was pretty much it, man.
Yeah, so most of the ones that you said I haven't seen, so I'm kind of glad I haven't gotten to most of those. Like Sausage Party, never did. Like I saw it and I was just like, oh, that got greenlit. Okay.
Yeah.
Good for you, Seth Rogen. You can get anything sold apparently,
really.
But like
who greenlit that film?
Exactly.
I mean, he's freaking Pumbaa or whatever in the upcoming live action of Lion King. I can't remember if it's Pumbaa or Timon or whoever it is.
Yeah.
He's someone.
He's one of those things. What's it? What's that song? Oh. Kuma Matata?
Yeah.
Kuma Matata?
He's one of them.
Yeah, he's one of those two.
Yeah.
But yeah, so most of yours I didn't see, so I won't get to those. So I could probably see why you regretted wasting your time on them. I've got a few. Mine are a little bit more all over the place. So the first one I have is one of the Saws. I've only seen part of them. I think it was Saw 3. I don't know which one it was, to be honest. I made it 5 minutes into the movie, and I regret those 5 minutes because it just traumatized me a little bit. Certain things I just can't watch.
They were messed up, man.
I get it's a movie, but there are certain things. I was in the hospital a lot as a kid because I got a lot of stitches because I fell out of trees and stuff because I was a young boy without the internet. And so when I see certain things like that, it just messes with me. So the Saw, I think it was Saw 3, but one of them it's some person in this classroom, and they're all hooked up to a bunch of hooks, and they have to start tearing themselves out of the hooks. And as soon as that started, I was like, oh, nope, I'm done with this. And I regretted ever even turning that movie on. And I'm glad I haven't got to any other, haven't even bothered with any of the other ones because they would just mess with me too much. But that's one of the first ones I regret, even putting the 5 minutes into trying to watch. Next, I have the Nymphomaniac movie. I was just curious about this when I was younger. I was curious what it was about. Bad decision. Horrible decision. It'll mess with your head. It'll make you question all of society and just make you judge people just so much, and I regret ever putting that into my mind. I regret even it coming up on my Netflix.
You're just a big old no, eh?
Oh, just no. Just no.
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 Why is this happening?
Why are you doing that? Why do you want him to? No. Why? Anyways, so that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Bad memories, man. Bad memories.
Complete, don't ever, just complete, I wish I could get that time back, and it's just not in my memory anymore.
That sounds like Planet of the Apes, man.
Yeah, I would probably equate it to that same level, if not higher. The next thing I had was Alice Through the Looking Glass, which was the sequel to the Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, that came out last year.
Yeah,
right?
I think it was last year or the year before that. Pretty sure that
I
was really
more Tim Burton, Helena Bonham Carter movies.
Exactly, and I'm usually I usually don't hate on any of their movies. I actually kind of enjoyed Alice in Wonderland, and I was kind of looking forward to this Through the Looking Glass because we haven't seen the next story because there's another book. But I just felt it was just it was just terrible. It was a bad plot.
Kind of forced.
It was exactly. They just forced this movie because they wanted to make it, and it was like, well, you could have don't force a sequel because you want to try and double down on the characters or the franchise. Make a sequel if you have a good story to tell. And it's like they had source material they could have taken from, and they just ignored that to go with some random time thing, which I kind of like the idea of. I like that Time was a dude. It was Time, right? That was the enemy in it or something like that.
I think so. Yeah.
I like that he was a dude. And so that was kind of interesting, but other than that, it was just once I finished, I was like, I really wish I'd never turned this on. So that's another one.
Came in at number 39 on the list.
I was gonna say it was definitely somewhere on last year's list. I thought so, and I was just like, oh god, I didn't see it in theaters. I waited till it came on Netflix, thankfully, so I didn't waste my money. But it was definitely a waste of my time, and I probably won't fall into that trap again. Damn you, Tim Burton.
You got anything else on your list, Scott?
Yeah, so I've got a few more. I've got The Golden Compass. I saw that in
that was one of those ones that I remember watching it the first time and thinking, man, this is so good, and I hope they make a sequel.
Really?
And then 5 years later watching it again and being like, nope, I take it back.
See, I remember being excited for it to come out because that was during the time when we're in
Chronicles of Narnia.
Exactly.
And
We're just at the
out.
end of
big.
Harry Potter. Harry Potter, I think, was on the 5th or 6th movie, so it was really big making books into movies, and I really liked that because I read a lot of those. It got me into reading books at that time a little bit because I was like, oh, I could just read this book and imagine that movie, or give me more material from the movie. Does that make sense? I saw the movie in theater, so I'd read the book after.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yep. So you have a baseline for your visual in your head. Otherwise,
Exactly.
you're stuck making it up. Yeah.
Exactly. So I really enjoyed doing
feels more
that. So when the Golden Compass was coming out, I really liked the idea that it was coming out. And then when I went to see it, I was like, oh, this is garbage. I'd never read the book, so maybe I probably should have done had an idea of what the book was about before going to the movie. But yeah, I regret seeing that one because I just did not enjoy any of it. Even with Daniel Craig in there, all I remember thinking was, aren't you James Bond? Why would you do this? I think that was just after Casino Royale. So I'm like, oh, you're James Bond pretending to be some weird bad guy, maybe, sort of. It was really ambiguous. I only saw the movie once because it was a waste of time. And the last...
Was he a bad guy? I thought he was the good guy.
I can't even remember.
I thought he was one of the heroes.
Maybe he was somebody's dad. I'm not really sure.
I just know that people's souls or kids' souls are little animals and stuff.
Yeah,
Hers is an otter or something.
Honestly,
muskrat maybe.
I couldn't tell you. I saw it. Like I said, I saw it in theaters. That was the only time I saw it, and I wish I hadn't. I blocked it mostly out of my memory. The only reason I remembered it was because I had to look up a bunch of disappointing movies to refresh myself for this list.
And you're like, oh man.
Yeah, but the last one I have on my list is Sucker Punch. And I think me and you might have saw this together back in high school. I'm pretty sure. With Adam Carey and some other people.
Yeah. I remember watching it with a group of people, and then I remember watching, was it the sequel by myself? Was it? No, it wasn't Sucker Punch. It was Kick-Ass, I'm thinking.
Yeah, you're thinking Kick-Ass.
But it was definitely Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch
that
was,
movie.
Yeah, I remember, I think we all went together, and it was just shit. Because it looked okay. The trailers made it seem like such more of an action-y movie, and it just turns out to be this, crazy person's delusions, and it's only, part of the movie's that, and part of it's her just... alone in a room or something, or her and other crazy people in an insane asylum, and it's really convoluted and weird, and It just wasn't good.
Makes you feel like you're the crazy person.
It did make me feel a little crazy, and I don't like when that happens in a movie because I have that enough concerns in real life. I don't need movies to just reinforce that.
Yeah.
So I like escapism in my movies. So yeah, Sucker Punch was the last one I regret even putting any time into going to see.
Paying to see that movie was the Sucker Punch.
Yes, exactly. It really is the best way to put it. It was like that. The fact that I paid for, I'm hoping I can't remember exactly, but I hope that was back in the days when there was $4 Tuesday tickets and I only paid $4. I'm hoping that. Really hope that that's how we worked it out.
It wasn't like $7 and you're like, God
damn it, full price.
Yeah. What about you, Craig? Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to do that exact same transition.
Perfect.
There we go. So my list is really short because I would like to think that I've blocked the memory of all these movies that I
I think I had that same problem
before.
coming up with my list.
Yeah.
So
I had to really rack my brain.
My list, the only two mentions that I could come up with was obviously Napoleon Dynamite, because given the opportunity to talk terribly about that movie, and I like John Heater, but to talk terribly about that movie, I'll do it every single time.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only highlight of that movie is that it brought him into like mainstream.
The spotlight.
But even then, he didn't really like he's done some stuff, and I enjoy that other stuff he's done, but he hasn't done a whole lot that I can stick out. You guys might know better than me.
No, exactly. And then the only other one I could think of was, you guys are probably going to hate me for this, but it is the first time that I was sitting in a movie theater, and
if you say Batman versus Superman, Craig.
Oh, you already know I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I was going to say,
fair enough.
But maybe we left.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I intentionally left it off of the list of movies that I have seen just so I could bring it back for this. No, the very first time I've ever been sitting in a movie theater and gone, okay, this is just going on too long, I need to leave. I don't remember which Transformers movie it was.
Oh yeah, that's
but
fine.
Now that I think about it, I regret ever having put any of my effort into watching any of the Transformers films that have come out.
You know what? I personally love the Transformers movies, but I see where you're coming from. They are long and kind of monotonous, robotness, for lack of a better term.
After the second movie, I would have been one of those people that gave you a hard time about it, Craig. But after the fifth, I'm on your side. I'm on your side, Craig. Like the third came out, and I was like,
one of those
man.
movies that the plot lines don't add up, and it's kind of forced at this point.
Exactly.
And it is Michael Bay, right?
They're
trying to make Boom.
Yeah, just put it on a spectacle show. Like it is what it is, which is why I've still watched them. But I haven't paid for one in theaters since the third one.
See, I have my thing about going to see blockbusters opening night, so
That's
still
fair.
do go.
I can't do that.
But I totally see where you're
man.
coming from, Craig, and I do support your opinion.
Yes.
They are kind of ridiculous.
like
I love them still, but I totally get it.
I wouldn't regret that I've seen them because I was curious about the story, but I still haven't seen like the newest one yet, like the last night. I haven't put that on yet.
I want to say I've only
eventually.
seen the first and the third, and the third one was the one that I saw in theaters and went, oh my god, this needs to
Yeah, that's not a good one. That's where they went down. Like I feel it started to go a little downhill. Do
you remember Marky Mark at all, Craig?
No.
He hasn't got to Marky Mark yet.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, it was probably the third. Yeah. Because the second one was pretty good.
The second one, I always forget what it was like happened in it.
That's The Fallen, man.
I know, I still forget. I tried to rewatch it like a month or so ago, maybe like 2 months ago when the last night was out, and I started and I'm like, I've seen this a bunch of times, and I remember why I haven't rewatched them in a while, because they're just 3 hours of this you can remember it's exactly, and you can remember the whole thing. Like I don't know about you guys, I can remember the whole plot in my head in like 4 seconds, and I'm like, okay, yeah, like I do kind of want to see the spectacle again, but I'd rather just watch like a highlight reel on like YouTube or something.
The sports center of Transformers.
Exactly. Like, that would be pretty awesome.
Somebody just cuts 30 minutes of Transformers.
So here's
action.
Optimus Prime dying.
Yeah.
And he's back. It's like watching any professional European football game.
Yeah.
Oh, he's injured. And
they took him out.
Back.
You got any more movies that you almost want to walk out of the theater on, Craig?
Nope, because like I said, I either am too simple and I just enjoy them regardless, or I've completely blocked them out of my memory.
See, myself, I don't have any movies where I feel like I wanted to get up and walk out of the movie theater. but I did have a situation where I wanted to get up and walk out of the movie theater.
Is that when you were at Wonder
Woman?
Woman?
Story so much.
Yeah, that was when I went to
love
see
this
Wonder
story
Woman.
so much.
I haven't heard this complete story yet, so do tell us.
So I've told a lot of people about this.
I got the phone call on the way home, which makes me most proud.
You did. This was one where I don't know if you guys or anyone else out there is familiar with prime seating. It's almost the same as the AVX theater where you pick your seat in the theater.
Yeah.
Except prime seating only has 2 rows
Where you pick, yeah.
of where you pick. So I bought the morning of Wonder Woman. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to risk not being able to find a seat. I'm going to pay the extra couple bucks.
Get some prime
and I'm going to get my prime seating.
Good call.
And I picked the seat, the second row up of the prime seating.
Yeah.
And as far to the left as possible. So I'm hoping I don't have to sit with anyone.
Yeah.
So I get in the theater. I go to my seat. The entire first row, packed.
Yeah.
The second row where I'm sitting, no one.
Empty.
So I sit down in my spot as far left as possible.
Yeah.
Not 5 minutes goes by, and this girl walks in. And she has prime seating. And she has all the pickings in the world to sit anywhere else in the aisle. And where does she sit? Beside me.
No, she didn't.
And I get that she sat beside me because she paid for that seat. I get it. Follow the rules. I believe in that.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
she could have picked a bunch of other seats.
You saw all the empty seats on the screen.
You could have moved a seat over.
Well,
so the whole movie.
I get why she didn't move one seat over, because that I think they block when you try to pick seats, because you have to have at least like 2 gap, I think, so that a pair of people can sit. But it is just ridiculous. That's like when you get on a bus, like you're on an empty bus and someone decides to sit next to you. You're like, dude, the whole bus is empty, and you're gonna sit next to me, you weird Asian.
That's the exact way I felt. And the entire movie, even before the movie, she was still talking to me and trying to be buddy. And by the end of the movie, I was like, did I just have a date? What just happened?
Wait. Did you guys make out?
That was
No, we didn't.
Okay.
But she did grab my leg once or twice at the jump moments. Oh my god, did that happen?
That's a date.
She did grab my knee.
You went on a date. Yeah. You went on a date.
And then
you got set up on a blind date, and only she knew
on
about
a blind date by someone who didn't tell you it was a date.
Damn.
She knew it was a date.
She talked to me.
Whoever set her up with you knew it was a date. They just forgot to mention to you.
No one
they
told
knew
me.
you were going to be there. Because like you said, you try to always make it to the opening night.
Yeah, the premiere night,
Exactly.
the midnight premiere, so to speak.
So people know that's a habit you have, which means that's pretty easy to pick up on. They set you up. Somebody set you up. It's a conspiracy, man. Somebody set you up in a conspiracy, blind date conspiracy. They're testing you out for The Bachelor. That's all I could think of. As
I wouldn't
far as
make
that rant's
it.
going.
I can't make it. So that's one of those stories of man, that movie, it was good to see, but I was like, no, I got to get out of here. You're talking. We're not here together. Stop being this way.
Yeah, I'll never understand people like that. The only time I ever had anything similar to that at the movies was this one time this really smelly dude sat next to me in the theater, reeked of cigarettes and booze. Reeked,
Man,
he smelled like he slept in it. And it was, the worst part was that there was it was half the row was empty, and he came all the way down to sit next to me. He didn't even put a 1-seat gap. There was enough room that he could have put 1-seat gap, right? So there was enough room on my side that I moved 1 seat, and he moved with us.
Okay, good. I was gonna say, Scott, I hate to tell you, but I think you were on a date.
Well, no, see, I was at the movie with my high school girlfriend at the time, and she
and this guy was like, "No, be with me, bro."
No, actually, technically he was sitting next to her, and she made me
damn.
move over because she wanted to move, and she could only smell it. Because, I'm too self-conscious. I would never actually move because that person, I'd be like, what if that person judges me for moving away from them, right? I wouldn't want to get in that conflict, but we did get in that conflict because we moved, and this dude looks over at us, talks to whoever he's with for a second, and gets up and moves next to us, right? After we had moved over a seat, just to get closer to us, and then eventually the high school girlfriend had to get up and leave. We only made it halfway through the movie before she was like, Like, I can't handle it. Da, da, da. She was allergic to tobacco smoke, so like he smelled way too bad. And I only watched half of that. What was it? Was a Will Smith? Is it 7 pounds? 9 pounds?
Oh, 7 pounds, man. That well.
Yeah, so I've
that
only
was
ever
a good
seen
movie.
half of
That was
that
a good
movie
movie. You
because of
should
that.
have.
Well, originally
This guy just ruined a great movie for you.
He did, because she originally just left to go get some air, and then it had been like 20 minutes, and I was like, oh, she's not coming back, so I had to get up and go. But because I tried to finish watching the movie, I was like, the smell's not bothering me that much. I paid for this ticket. I'm gonna watch my movie. I'm cheap like that. Like it wasn't a Tuesday, so it wasn't like but yeah, ended up having to leave. So that was probably like one of the worst movie experiences I've had. The only other time was like the first time I went to a movie by myself. But that was just more me, being
awkward.
Yeah.
It
wasn't even like awkward like at the movie. It was more awkward just like before the movie. Actually, like that time, like when I went to see Harry Potter, I was younger, so I think I was like grade 7 or 8, whichever one came out around then. And I think my whole family had already gone and seen it like the weekend before, but I hadn't seen it because I was like away for some reason. So yeah, I had to go by myself. And I remember my parents like just dropped me off at the mall like 45 minutes before the movie started. So I had like 20 minutes of just wandering around part of the mall by myself until I could even get into the theater because they have like the half-hour rule. And yeah, so that kind of sucked. But I mean, eventually I just watched the movie and it was fine. But yeah, that's about it. This is one bad experience I've ever had at the movies.
What about you, Craig? You got anything depressing or out there?
The only thing that came to mind, because we'd kind of called this the worst movie experiences, was the time that I almost passed out watching Deadpool.
I remember that.
Yeah,
and you had to go get water.
That was not a pleasant.
Was it too much?
Pleasant day.
Was it too much like
graphics?
Too much swearing.
I think what it comes down to is I didn't eat dinner before I went to the movie, and then I don't do well with I don't do well with like really, really pronounced gore.
I could
so much. So when it got to the part where he was, it was about the middle of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That was about as much as I could take. I was like, yeah, I need to get water and air, and
that's fair.
Not see this for a couple minutes.
That's actually happened to me at a movie. It was actually another comic book movie for me. It was Doctor Strange. I had to I almost threw up during the scene where you see his hands all like scarred up and he's like getting surgery on them.
Yeah, he's got the pins and everything.
Yeah, and so like
I just wouldn't watch it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was at the theater with my brother and we're sitting there and I'm just in my chair and I'm trying to enjoy it, and then they get to that scene and I'm like, oh, okay, like just breathe, Scott, and then out of nowhere I just like I feel like I'm gonna faint and I like feel like throwing up, so I like crawl into a ball in my seat and I'm just like sweating like a little like I don't even know what to call it. I was sweating a lot, and I was like, thought I was gonna like faint or something. Eventually, it passed, but I was like, I had like a little mini panic attack because
that's exactly
sweat
the
like
same,
a whore in church.
That is exactly the same. That's exactly the same things that happened to me. Now I've seen Deadpool since at least twice, and it did not have the same effect. So I think it might
same
have
with
been
me and
with
Doctor Strange. It was just that first kind of like shock. You see it, and it just like I feel like it.
Yeah.
Like for me, I feel like it triggered something from back when I was younger and I've been to the hospital a million times. Because it'll happen to me, like Grey's Anatomy, that's happened to me a few times watching that show. Sometimes I'll just like, not as bad as that, but I'll get like I need to leave this scene or I'm gonna get like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm not super bad, but just certain things that like remind me of my own body too much. That I'm like, oh wait, maybe I do have lung cancer. Damn it.
Damn it. That was a sucker punch.
Yes. Throwback.
Call back to this episode.
This episode.
Yeah, so those are our kind of awkward situations from movies that we watched back then. But now we're going to get into, what'd you call it, Craig?
I called it WWWTW, which is a whole lot easier to say than what we watched this week.
Well, this is what we watched this week.
Which we end up saying anyway.
It's up for debate. We'll leave it up
Craig,
to
why don't you start us off?
I like
All
us.
right, fine.
I like us saying though, like doing the acronym and then just saying what the acronym is after it. Like I like that.
WWWTW, also known as
I like
watched
that.
this week. That's nice and brief. I like it.
It's got character. It's kind of like the artist formerly known as Prince. It's like It's like it's longer. It's like no, it's still Prince, but it's oh no, he doesn't go by Prince anymore. What does he go by? Oh, he goes by the symbol. So
yes, or the artist formerly known as Prince because his record
we
label
had his money.
sucked. Yeah,
maybe that's what
or his talent.
If only.
His boots.
We are still alive though, so I mean,
at least
That's
we still
true.
have his Batman.
And we don't live in Minnesota. So.
I was just gonna make a Minnesota joke, so thank you for beating me to it.
So Minnesota.
All right, so this week I watched a lot of I watched a lot of not a whole lot, if that makes sense. I watched a lot of the same things. So the first thing I'm gonna go on is this lovely little sitcom called Life in Pieces. It is what some might call a guilty pleasure because it's really a family thing.
I think I've heard of it. What's it about?
It's a family, and they a family in I want to say California, and basically the episodes are made up of 4 little stories that kind of have some sort of relation to it from each different segment of the family. So the parents.
I think you've told me about it. That's
kids.
probably where I've heard it from.
Yeah, it's I think it's hilarious, and it keeps my attention. So I watched the entirety of season 2, which is now on Netflix. I finally, because my sister gave me access to Crave TV, so I've finally finished Letterkenny.
Shout out to one of the Coiter clan.
Rachel. So I finally finished Letterkenny. I'd seen the first 2 seasons, so I watched season 3 and the 2 extra specials that are there.
Oh, did you watch the new Halloween one?
I did, yeah.
How'd you like that?
I made sure I finished season. It was good. I mean, I liked the St. Perfect's Day one better.
Yeah, I haven't seen the show at all. I've been thinking about watching it because it's a Crave TV original. I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
I pay for
good
Crave
old
TV.
Canadian comedy.
Yeah.
If you can keep up with the references, it's hilarious.
Okay.
They are kind of quick. But it is.
What type of references? Like references to itself, or?
It's a lot of references to small town Ontario.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, my people.
Nice. Yeah, exactly. So it's all a bunch of stuff where you go, oh yeah, like we had that in Welland a little bit.
Yeah, like the Tim Hortons type jokes and stuff like that.
Not quite.
Not that cliche, but
it's some pretty high. Like it's probably one of the best Canadian comedies in existence.
Like on the same par as like a Corner Gas.
Yeah,
because I think that's the last Canadian comedy I've watched, to be honest.
I don't know if it has as much.
I don't know the same things that you don't know.
I don't know if it has the same relevance as Corner Gas, because Corner Gas would kind of appeal to a broader audience.
Okay.
Than Letterkenny does, because Letterkenny's a little fast. Like the references are quick, but I quite enjoyed that. So I watched that. And then I also watched Kroll Show, the entirety of it, which I looked up, 31 episodes at roughly 30 minutes each. It gets you to 15 hours of Kroll Show.
Damn.
Oh, so that's a Saturday. Okay, that's not that bad.
Yeah, it was pretty much all of my I had yesterday off, so I watched a lot of it then. I watched the entire 3rd season yesterday. Yeah, it was good.
What's that about?
I had a couple people. It's a sketch show.
Okay.
It's a sketch show, and basically it's based around the fact that Nick Kroll is kind of he's a fairly diverse actor when it comes to his voices.
Yeah.
So it's basically just a bunch of reality TV show pitches on top of each other.
Okay. Cool.
So
sounds like something we could do.
Yep, yeah, probably. So he's got
segment idea.
He's got one that actually had a spin-off that him and John Mulaney did on Broadway called Oh Hello. I don't know if you saw the Netflix.
I've heard of
that.
Huh.
So they're like recurring characters, George St. Geegland and Gil Faison, and they're old New Yorkers who do this prank show on public access television with Too Much Tuna.
Okay, I think I've seen like a clip of that.
That's pretty funny. He's got one that's a PR firm called Publicity, because both the people that own it are named Liz, in which he plays a woman named Liz. And then he's just got a bunch of different characters that he plays that have reoccurring things, and all of them are like you'd usually find on a crappy TV network with a bunch of reality shows. It's all co-produced by one of the other characters from the other ones, and then they have like crossovers, and
That's pretty cool.
It is entertaining. There's a ton of Canada references, and I can't figure out why, because like 50% of the people that worked on the show are from Pennsylvania, and the rest of them are from like New York and LA. So I don't know why they do an entire show called Wheels Ontario. And there's just a ton of Canada references through it, and it's kind of funny.
Well, just because it's funny, eh?
Exactly. Their accents are so
bunch of freaking
over the
hosers.
top.
Maybe that's the only accent they could do. Because if I was going to do a show where I had to do an accent,
Maybe
it'd
they
have to be a
just didn't want
hoser
to make
accent.
Maybe they just didn't want to make fun of Minnesotans, so they're like, "Oh, Minnesotans, hoser, close enough."
Right to Canada. Yeah. So I would recommend like at least one or two episodes, and you'll probably get hooked, just because there's so much variety to it.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
Because it's not like an actual sitcom. It's a sketch show.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
And he does these little bits where he talks to the people that are in the sketches with him and asks them questions, and sometimes they go off on tangents. He talks to the editors, the producers, the camera guys, all this stuff. It's a pretty entertaining show.
That sounds pretty good.
There's a reason why I put those three ahead, because there are two movies that I watched this week that were fantastic. The first one, and I referenced this to Andrew earlier this weekend when I saw it, Wheelman.
Oh, nice! I watched that as well.
Netflix original. Yeah. Did you watch it, Andrew?
I have not made it to that.
You
but it's
definitely
next up on
should.
my
Yeah,
list.
it's a nice short one too.
It's not long, and what I thought the coolest part about it was that almost all of it takes place inside of a car.
That was my favorite part. Like when it first starts, it seems like it's gonna like be all in the car, or like only shot from like a certain perspective of the car, which I was like, ooh, I don't know how I feel about just one perspective from the car. But I do like that it's mostly shot inside the car, but it's also still not like it's not all about the driving. It's more about the driver, which I really liked.
Exactly, and there's only like 16 people in that movie.
Yeah, it was
in total,
it was like
including
a good
voices.
transporter movie, like a better, like kind of like I don't want to say like toned down, but like more realistic transporter type movie, like, which I liked about it. Like I that was one of the things I watched this week as well. Which, and I watched it because I really like the guy who starred in it, Frank Grillo. He's in a bunch of other things.
Brock Rumlow.
What'd you say?
Crossbones.
Yeah. But yeah, so I watched it because of him, and well, it's a Netflix original. But I really liked it, and it's only an hour and 20, I think, is what it was. So it's a nice, like, really short, concise thing. They don't like drag anything on, considering like it is a car movie, so they could have easily like dragged on like certain scenes.
Yeah.
But it was just nice.
And all of a sudden, you end up with Wheelman 14, like the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't want that, because it was like that was the thing I liked about it. It was really grounded. It wasn't any like over the top driving. It was just kind of pretty basic and like run of the mill, but not like too run of the mill, but like it was an action
original
movie.
enough that it was entertaining, but it wasn't so original that you weren't entertained by it. It's an hour and 22 minutes long.
Yeah, it was really good. I liked it. It was a good like end of a it's 8:00 on a Wednesday. There's nothing on TV kind of movie to watch, or like a Saturday night kind of movie. I think I watched it Saturday night.
Yep, so did I. And then the last one I watched was in lieu of going to see Thor, because I didn't want to sit around with a bunch of college students who had nothing better to do, because the movie theater I went to is near Humber College. I went and saw Suburbicon with one other guy, and that was it. I didn't go with him, for clarification, but he was in the theater. And
so it wasn't an awkward date where he sat beside you?
It wasn't an awkward date. I sat down at the back of the movie theater. He got up and left before the previews started, so I thought maybe he was just taking off. So I got up and moved to a spot that was like in the middle of the speakers. Then he came back, and I'm sure he had some weird thought in his head, like, "What the hell's this guy doing?
Why is he closer to where I was?"
But the thing I liked the most about Suburbicon is that the trailer essentially tells you nothing.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
I found that like the way that they cut the trailer is probably one of the best trailers that I've seen, is just because it doesn't actually hint at much of the storyline, and it doesn't give any of the plot away.
Well, that is a good trailer. That's what I haven't seen the trailer for that or heard.
It
of
was
that movie.
it was enough to keep me like, it was enough. The trailer was enough for me to be like, yeah, I'm gonna go see that. but it wasn't enough that you were like, I know what happened in this movie.
That's exactly what we want from a trailer.
Exactly. So that was good, but I was sitting through the previews and they're showing like this new movie Winchester House and another the Insidious movie, and I'm like, did I just come into the wrong movie theater?
Yeah.
Because I did not think this was a horror film.
Yeah.
So Suburbicon over Thor. That was my poor decision of the weekend. But Suburbicon was excellent, so it was a good decision.
Yeah.
On the bright side, this allows us, because I know Scott and I saw Thor.
Yes, we did.
Now you and I get to watch it, and then we'll talk about it on the next podcast.
Exactly.
Dive totally in, because next week's podcast is going to be an extra special, big November superhero blockbuster episode.
But this was a very special episode, so now we have
I
two
feel like
very
all of
special
our
episodes.
November
very
is a
special.
very
All
special
very
month.
special episodes.
They're all very special because
We
our
love them.
listeners are very special people.
They are.
They're special folks.
Scott, dude, what did you watch this week?
Well, besides Wheelman and Thor that we've mentioned already, I also watched the Arnold Schwarzenegger docudrama. That's what it was classified as on Netflix, Pumping Iron, where it's a documentary about Arnold's last bodybuilding competition for the Mr. Olympia, where he actually is competing against Lou Ferrigno. And it's so funny because it's just big old dumb Arnold Schwarzenegger
Brutes.
just working out, making the stupidest faces, and just mind fucking all the other all the other bodybuilders, like every one of them.
Hey, it's great.
They're all like, because he's the champ, right? So he was like 6-time winner before he goes into the 7th in last year that he's going to retire after he wins it, right? And people are, some of these people are kind of asking him advice, and he'd be like, "Oh, you're too late. You should have been doing. You're 2 weeks late. 2 weeks from now, you'd have been fine." I'm like, "Oh, Arnold, just fucking with these
Schwartzy,
people.
what are you doing?
Just fucking with these guys' minds," and it's just like, "Oh,
you should have been here 2 weeks ago.
exactly." He said that to Lou Ferrigno and his dad.
Oh, damn.
He's like, "Oh, 2 weeks from now he would have won this, but he timed it wrong." And I'm like, "Yo, you're sitting at dinner with these people just insulting their son. That's why I
And then
love you,
Lou's like,
Arnold."
well, I'm going to go become the Hulk.
Yeah, I think that was before he was cast as the Hulk, but I'm not sure.
Right.
But that was really entertaining, and it was just kind of cool, interesting to see where Arnold kind of started off too, because that's the documentary that kind of got him into film, too.
Okay.
Like after that, I think is what led to Conan and etc. and everything after that. So it was really interesting to see, because it was just like, it's not like too much of a documentary, because it's mainly just following him around as he talks to different like bodybuilders and tells you about like how he's gotten to this point. But it's pretty good to watch. It's not too long, so it's just, and you get to see old Arnold, which is, I miss that. Oh, not old Arnold, like young Arnold, I should say, back in his prime.
Prior.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause he's old Arnold now. But what I meant is like younger Arnold, and I always miss younger Arnold some days. God.
Prior educated governor. Arnold.
Yes, long before he was even like an American citizen. I think he only lived in the States for like 4 years at that point. But that was one of the movies I watched, I watched the Jack Whitehall special off of Craig's recommendation, which I really enjoyed.
What'd you think?
I really
Yeah.
enjoyed it. He was pretty funny. I like his kind of style. I do like that you kind of see him kind of like, not screw up, but like, you know what I mean? Like kind of like stumble on his own jokes before he tells them sometimes, because he's
Like the
laughing
one,
at them.
like the one where he accidentally gives out his buddy's
Yes,
name,
that one.
name.
That's exactly what I was thinking
and
of.
then
Yeah.
goes full out and just gives him
He's
his
like,
whole
yeah, Gary,
information.
whatever. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty funny. So I like that part of it, because it felt very, like, you could tell he was being authentic
yeah,
about it. Like,
organic, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, he didn't mean to. It's just kind of, he was in the moment. I'm probably going to check out his other Netflix thing, which is like him and his dad traveling the world, just because he was pretty funny.
That's another Craig recommendation.
It is entertaining.
A Craig
like
commendation.
I like
it does
that.
look like a
Portmanteau.
I am writing down Craig commendation.
recommendation.
That should just be our new segment. Every week we
Yeah,
give Craig
Craig
recommendations.
They're never going to be
We're
good.
going to have way
except
too many
for these
segments one of these days.
You've taken all my good recommendations already. His father is very entertaining.
Yeah, that's what I've seen the trailer for it. Yeah, because he's like the
polar opposites.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I was kind of after seeing the special, I'm like, okay, I could probably get on board with that show. So I'm probably gonna get into that next weekend. But the only other thing I watched, besides our normal DC shows that I really kind of wanted to mention was, I know you guys probably don't watch this, but Once Upon a Time, it's an ABC show.
I watched it at first, and it kind of got it.
Yeah, I could see how you might have fizzled out of it. I just watch it because I watch too much TV, and I have a problem.
Fair enough. Well, no, you forgot to grow up, man.
I forgot to grow up, and I really enjoyed it. But this season they rebooted it because half of their lead actors quit after the last season. So Emma, she quit. The two, the Charming, so Snow White and Prince Charming,
Okay.
they both quit.
Yep.
So now they had to reboot it somehow. And what they did was they jumped ahead 20 years. And now you're following Henry's kid trying to convince Henry, who doesn't remember, that everything's magic. And then you saw Regina kicking around. So you got adult Henry now. So new actor playing adult Henry, if you know who Henry is. He was the kid from the first seasons. But I kind of, at first I was hesitant to their reboot because I was like, you guys just restarted the show. You just replaced the characters with characters you already had. But then I was like, well, that's exactly what I want from a reboot anyways. So you guys did exactly what I wanted. You just didn't wait much time. You just went from season 6 to 7 and just did it. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. But it's pretty interesting to see that they it's cool because they have that 20-year gap now that they can fill in with flashbacks, which is one thing I do like about, I liked about Once Upon a Time all the way up to now is they always have these flashbacks that you see of these fairy tale stories while they're still doing their day-to-day fairy tale stuff. So yeah, I kind of like the way they rebooted it. It's kind of interesting to see, and I'm probably going to keep up with that. But yeah, that's all I watched this week. What else did you watch this week besides Thor?
This was a binge week for me.
Nice.
When it comes to movies. I started watching this show that was on Netflix called Borderline.
I think I've heard of that.
It's a British kind of mockumentary in quotations, kind of about airport border security in England.
That's the one with the racist border guards. Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
I'm not done it yet, but I've really enjoyed it. It's a very dry humor.
But it's so funny.
But it's so good.
Though. I do like dry.
The employees are so awkward. It's incredible. I watched that. I watched the Blues Brothers just because I was bored and decided to watch it.
I love me some Blues Brothers.
I watched K-Pax.
K-Pax. Oh yeah.
Memories of grade 9 math class.
Yeah, that's the only reason why. I happened to look over at my my DVD collection. I was like, grade 9 math class on a snow day. So I watched K-Pax.
Jeff Bridges is in it.
Jeff Bridges, yeah, and someone else is going through some crap right
is
now.
in it.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges is in it.
The only one who's in it.
No one else.
Only one.
No one else of any importance. Yesterday, I watched the new animated Batman versus Two-Face.
You sent me the DVD cover for that, and I was like,
with Adam West's final
voice acting.
With Will Shatner as Two-Face.
Yeah, I saw that cover and I was just like, oh, yeah, I have to watch that.
Truth be told, between that and what was it, The Return of the Caped Crusader, the last Adam West animated Batman movie that came out?
I think so.
Those two, infinitely better than the live action.
Oh yeah, that's good.
If they had done a whole TV show animated like that, I would have loved it. Even more than
than the original.
Than that 60s. Yeah.
I definitely have to get to that then. Both of those actually. I haven't checked out.
It's pretty good.
That's good.
Kapow! It's so good.
That's what I like.
And then one other thing I watched is this past weekend I watched the Lego Ninjago movie.
How was that? That's actually, I'm kind of interested to hear about that because that's one of their first Lego property movies. Not Lego combined with another franchise. It was one of their own. That's a Lego created franchise. So how was that?
See, I'm not going to go too into depth, just because I want you guys to watch it so we can talk about it later. But it's really good. The casting was pretty good. Like they've got Jackie Chan as Sensei Wu.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, oh, I'll watch anything with Jackie Chan in it, to be honest.
Yeah. Dave Franco's kind of the main character.
Okay.
Michael Pena's in it. Fred Armisen. Abby Jacobson. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce his name, but Kumail Nanjiani. The guy
Kumail
from The
Nanjiani.
Big Sick. Yeah,
Oh,
that guy.
okay.
He's in it. Zach Woods, who played Gabe on The Office, is in it.
Mhm.
Olivia Munn. Michael Strahan.
Oh.
Yeah, Michael
That
Strahan.
guy's just getting all over the place nowadays. Like, he's a TV
then,
host nowadays, right?
Yeah, and then the bad guy from in it, Justin Theroux. He I had to IMDb him. He played the evil DJ in Zoolander, and I was
Relax,
like,
man.
That's such a like deep.
He's also
Like,
an
how did he
American
get a
Psycho.
job?
Don't do it.
Like, I've never seen him. Like, I don't even know who that guy is besides that part.
he's in a lot of stuff apparently.
He
He's
was
just-
in
he
American
just-
Psycho. He was
Yeah.
in Girl on the Train.
Yep. Okay.
else was
Well,
in-
still don't know. Who
Yeah,
he
he's
is.
got a real long IMDb
Probably
page.
just a
It's
bit guy.
just he just slips past you, I guess.
Oh, that's fair.
But he does a really good job in that part, or his vocal cords do a really good job in that part. But that's pretty much it. That's all I watched this week.
Right on.
There we go. Well, do we have anything else that we need to cover? This is officially our longest podcast.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Episode
we
so
probably
far.
shouldn't get into anything else really. 'Cause
Yeah, this is
dragged on.
essentially
I
it.
doubt many people have made it this far, except for Jack. Hi, Jack. I'm just gonna shout you out because I know you're one of our only loyal listeners. And Mom.
If you
Hi, Mom.
if you hear us say this, hit us up with some questions so we can talk about
Yeah,
them.
throw some
Yeah.
comments
But,
in. Be sure to.
Because you can
La-
see how this podcast suffers without the questions.
Yeah, you see us make up our
Then
own
we got to
segments.
come up with more segments, and then we just talk about them for a long
Exactly.
time.
And,
And
it
then
just
we-
gets longer the more thinking we do, the longer the podcast ends up
Well,
being.
because we have to like ramble and just come up with it on the spot sometimes.
It's just terrible.
Yes, but
Okay.
Speaking of terrible,
Oh, okay.
something that's not going to be terrible is next week's podcast.
I was gonna say.
where we cover Thor Ragnarok, and we kind of go off about Justice League.
yeah, we start some
Some of us are gonna go
getting
off
ready
about
for
Justice
Justice
League.
League.
So make sure you check in next week, guys.
All right, that's it. I guess we'll talk to everybody next week.
See ya.
Thanks for listening, guys.